I struggled, man, yeah, I struggled with classes because I hated math and I hate science. And I'm an exercise science major. I know, doesn't make sense, does it? But it happened, I got through it. Anatomy, I struggle with. Exercise phys, I struggle with, but I was able to get through it. And how did I get through it? I learned that it's key to go to your professors. Don't feel like you have to do this alone. Don't be so prideful and think that it's you versus the professor. Go in there. If that professor, make the professor say, look, I'm tired of seeing you. Honestly, you need to be in there every day. I was in his office every single day asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I think that's the key as well. Using your resources, studying. I wasn't the greatest person that studied. I really hated studying, so that I had to go to my professors and use that time for studying because they could break down the material better. So
I did really well my first 3 semesters in college. I came in and I knew that I wanted to go to law school, so I needed to keep my GPA high. The second semester of my sophomore year, I took 19 credit hours. Normally, you would take around 12 to 15. 19 was really an overload, and that semester was kind of a downfall for me. I ended up not where I wanted to be. I went from having a 4.0 every semester to that semester I made a D and 2 C's in a class and a couple B's, and I was pretty upset about it and down about it because I knew that my ultimate goal was to go to law school and I needed to have my GPA high in order to do that. So I was actually able to retake one of those classes, and that really helped my GPA in the following summer. I studied abroad for some class credits, and I had an internship which was able to substitute for some class credits. So altogether that summer I was taking 18 hours of class without really actually being in the classroom, and so that really helped my GPA go back up. So I was able to raise it back up just by not giving up and being persistent.
I left TSU for basketball reasons. It was honestly the worst year that I've ever had in basketball. Our record was terrible. And we didn't understand why it was the way that it was. And that was a down moment for me. So honestly, I left. I left Tennessee State, and I thought that I was done with it. Not so much dropping out, but leaving, running away, being done with it, going somewhere else. Every time I came home, I wasn't happy. Once I had transfer out, I knew that I left a place that I wasn't done at. And then 3 days before school, I was like, this is cool, but I want to go back to TSU. I feel like there's more to me than basketball, and I want to be able to see who I am as a person, get involved. From there, came back to TSU, got involved, got in different organizations. Sometimes you have to give up certain things to be able to see who you are. It's big to understand that life is all about sacrifices. You can't hold on to some things too long because it almost puts you in the mindset of that's all that you are, or that's all that you can do. So I think one of the biggest things is challenging yourself, stepping outside the box, understanding that you can do more than one thing. And, ultimately that's what drove me back to Tennessee State. So some of those daily habits that helped me be successful as a college student, I would have to say, honestly, this is one of the key things, that when you get an assignment, do it right then. Which sometimes may be hard, but you gotta understand is you don't want to be that student that's last minute. Because I was that student that was last minute. And everybody's not able to adjust on the fly like that. Everybody's not able to write a 5-page paper in 2 hours, So don't make college harder than it already is going to be. There's certain things you can, limit. So I think, doing your homework when your teacher gives it to you, making sure you're writing down notes, because your teachers look, who talks a lot in here, who sits in the front, who writes down notes, who's asking questions. Never let a day go by to where you don't at least ask one question. I would say 2 questions, but one question at least. Every single day in class, each class, you should ask the professor one question. It shows that you're attentive, shows that you care about what they're talking about. I think those are some big key things. And then going to class. That's the main thing, you know, going to class, being there. You don't gotta sit on the front row, sit in Coach Carter, but if you want to sit on the front row, I know my senior year, well, actually my junior year and up, I told myself I was sitting on the front row of every single class. So
I would say the first thing to be successful is you have to figure out how to manage your time. Just because everything is different, you're on your own. You have to schedule everything out. Your classes are going to be different. You might have a class at 8 a.m. and then another class at 6 p.m. And then you have all of these things to do in between. But depending on just like how involved you are on campus, it can be difficult to manage your time. It's definitely really important to build a relationship with each of your professors, even though it might seem kind of intimidating and scary just to go up and, you know, introduce yourself to a professor personally on the first day of class. You'd be really surprised at how far that will take you in the classroom.